Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker, the Pusha de Groa de Motivator. In this late edition of the Brothers of Legacy, let's get it started. I know some of my peeps may take a minute to come in. They're like, I got stuff to do, brother. I can't be out watching this show this late. It's all good. Watch it on the replay. Or better yet, check out the podcast. All right. So I want to thank you guys for being here, being a part, always sharing, because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So make sure you do that, because I'm sharing right now. Let's do what I do and make sure you share, because it's caring. So listen, I appreciate you guys for being here, being a part of all that we do. Who was that? Oh, good morning. Blessings, Lisa. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always being a part and sharing in what we do. Let's see. Spliggity splow. So make sure you share. Make sure you share. Today we are discussing how do we create a movement? How do we create a movement in our community, in our families? How do we create a movement within our peoples? Because, we're not going to all agree. But how do we create the movement in order to change the things that's happening around us, right? And not, like I said, talked about kind of yesterday, being so reactive to things that are happening, but being more proactive in what's happening in our community. And yes, voting is a component, but there's more. And we're going to kind of dig into that today. So again, I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for being a part of all that we do. I appreciate you guys for just sharing. So if you're in the building and if you haven't shared yet, be sure you do that. Sharing is caring. So make sure you do that. Today is Tuesday. And happy Tuesday to you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick it off. I feel like I have a little more energy. It's an hour later. It's psychological. It's just an hour later because I had to take care of some stuff this morning. And we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Again, make sure you share. All right, so we're going to talk about how do we create a movement, some of the habits, some of the things we need to do as a people in order to build something greater, to build something better, and not just kind of be spectators, right? What do we do? How do we stop being spectators and get part of what's happening? Join things that are making a difference in your community, making a real difference in your community, and we're gonna get into that. All right. So again, make sure you share. All right, we'll be right back right after this intro.
I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often invested in the legacy.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Let's go. We don't stand out, we stand up. Let's have this real conversation. and talk about how do we begin to create the movement we need in our community to make the changes that are necessary in order for us to be more impactful, empowered, and at least have a level of growth that is necessary for us to be better. All right, the necessary of the necessary. So again, I want to welcome you guys to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we talk about all kinds of issues every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to whenever we finish. Today we started at 10 because of some changing situations. And if you guys like 10, let me know. I like early though. I like early. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning. But I got to give the people what they want. So, let me know. I'm curious. So we're gonna see how people roll in. I just sent the text message. Text message went out today 2 times. One to show that we weren't gonna be on at 9. A second one just a reminder to come on in, and we'll be starting at 10 o'clock sharp. So today I want to talk about. Hey, good morning. Look at my people coming through. Even an hour later. Appreciate you. Good morning, Keita. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you being a part. Again, there's a share button on wherever you're watching. On YouTube, the Facebook. Make sure you're sharing. Because sharing is definitely caring. All right. So today, again, come on. There we go. Bam. All right. So today we're talking about how do we create a movement, right? Yeah. Woosah. So we are constantly inundated with the negative, horrific pictures, of police violence and even violence against ourselves. And it's like you always got your hands up. Like, what do you do? How do you begin to change the situation? Or how do you at least begin to change things for the better? And, each one of us are living our lives the best way we know how, right? I think, but we are so conditioned to being secluded. We're so conditioned to being me and mine and apart from everybody. So today I kind of want to discuss how do we begin to change our situations where we are closely knitted, tightly together, yet, each individually striving, because everybody has their pretty much own agenda and the things that they want to see personally that they want to build. And I feel like we are more apt to work together than have what they call the crabs in a bucket mentality than you think. And I don't believe anybody really wants to hold anybody back. Yes, because we can lie to ourselves as much as we like, but if you know somebody that has grown up in the same space, kind of had the same advantages and disadvantages that you have, and now they're thriving and successful, you always look like, man, what did I get wrong? What did I do that they didn't do or did do that I missed out on? Because there's always those moments. There's always a lane watching. It's not necessarily that you may not want to be like somebody, but you just want to understand, the positioning. Like, how do they get in the position that they're in? And I think a lot of times, to me, some of the keys to success, and I probably spoke about this a lot, but it's all about connection, right? And it's not just the connections to the millionaires, it's the connections to your neighbors, and just being a part of a village or a group and not being separate, right? And actively working to stay connected, right? Because it's not just one thing to get the number, text a little, but it's taking the next step to actively staying connected. You know, this is how we create a movement, because when we are so divided or separated, the diversity of ideas and ideals become so sparse. They become so separate from each other that it's hard to agree on enough to make change in our community, if that makes sense. And I think that is like our biggest enemy, is that we are so separated. And Pastor, you know, we talk about politics and how we get so emotional, and I get the emotional part of it. But I think it's just being able to really sit down and have a open-minded, thoughtful conversation about the things that separate us, especially if there is a level of separation, because we all grow up differently. We all see things from different spaces. But really being able to have an open-minded, thoughtful conversation as to why my brother and sister thinks a specific way that's opposing to the way I think. And even reaching spaces where you agree to disagree. Because for the most part, we all want the same things. It's just coming together to make them happen, right? So this is like the ground level foundation of how do we create a movement in order to change things in our community. Now, one of the biggest challenges to that is just being able to come together, just being able to build something that will create a nuance in order to start the ball rolling. And I think we miss out on just the basic levels of connection. All right. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Coming to the stage all the way from Okinawa, Japan. I said, I probably, every time I throw a name, like, who is this? Pastor Brian A. McCrory, Sr. What's up, sir? Good morning.
Happy day. Happy day. What's
Yes,
happening?
indeed.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Morning, Lisa. Morning, Deborah. Morning, Keita.
Yes, indeed. So I just want to take a quick pause and make sure you guys are voting. If it's your, I think a lot of early voting has started. I won't say everywhere, but just keep that in mind. If you're in the state of Georgia, it started here as well. So get into this, find out who's who. You know, most of the times if you go to if you look up your local election office in your town or a county, you can see what and who is on the ballot. So if you're like, I don't know what's on the ballot, you know, the worst thing is when you go into the booth, you're like, who is that? What is that? And then you start trying to read propositions, and you're like, that sounds like an obvious choice, but what all comes with that? You know, so you just like, yeah, no, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You know, so at least you kind of look up the people and some of the propositions and kind of weigh in on what will work, you know, for your county or state. So you're at least not totally blindsided when you walk into that booth, you know, and see other names. You're like, who is that? And granted, I'm going to keep it real, you know, unless Pastor got another way, unless someone has a political track record, it's hard to know if a candidate is new coming in, other than you can see they had a business, maybe a divorce or bankruptcy or something, but the research is harder. So it's kind of like ads are the only things you can go off of what the opposition is saying and what they're saying, and try to look for consistency. Like, okay, they look like they may be a liar. They may be a liar, you know, like, so it's just, so I won't say that that's the challenge of voting, especially new people, a new candidate, because you don't know who they are. You're just looking, you know, and unfortunately, if they look like somebody that has been janky in your life, you're gonna look like, yeah, you look like John. I ain't voting for you. You know, it's unfortunate, you know, That and names. Oh man, they got some name that you just like. Yeah, you sound like you trouble. you know. You know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But yeah, if they have a track record, you can kind of see that at least. And know this person is worthy of being reelected. You know, but it's hard to. It gets hard. It gets hard. Because there's a challenger here in Georgia to longstanding Congressman David Scott. A new guy's coming in, and you know, of course, he said David Scott.
Somebody's challenging David Scott.
Yes. I don't ask me his name. I cannot remember his name. Of course, a young-looking guy. He has a couple of ads.
Where's Latrice Rollins this morning?
I know, right? So
She would know.
She would know, yeah. So he, you know, he's been saying, you know, David Scott is. Oh, there she go. There she go. His
Who is
ads,
challenging David Scott, Trees?
yeah, he said they've had ads. He's saying, you know, David Scott has done some great things, but in the last decade, he is losing his grip. We need fresh eyes, you know. So he's not dogging them. Oh, Flowers. Okay, that's his last name. Flowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's his last name. Yeah. I can't really. I'll tell you later, Pastor. Like our opinion based on his ads. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about the person yet, though. Yeah. David Scott. Now, to taint a little bit, David Scott is endorsed, at least in his ads, by I went blank.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Because he's been there so long.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah.
So.
He's the distinguished gentleman. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not putting your business. I'm putting my business in the streets, but I'm not gonna put them in these streets because it's gonna be misconstrued and misunderstood. So, like, AD, you really think like that? So,
If you see me continue to turn my head to the side and look over this way,
yes, indeed.
it's because my mother is sitting next to me.
Oh, Mama Corey in the building.
She's in the house.
Yes.
Where's my girl? She's at work though.
Yes.
Samantha, there's
Yeah,
Latrice.
she's right there. She's working it out.
Lisa, Keita.
Yeah. Let's
Tell
see.
them all that. Make sure you
So,
say hi.
oh, there you go. Marcus Flowers.
Marcus Flowers. Okay.
Flowers.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a young guy challenger. But I know for those that don't really care about Georgia politics, like I'm not in Georgia. I don't care. But so
They're
that's
speaking. He said, "Hey, my mama Corey."
hey. So yeah, definitely just be aware of what's going on in your locale. You know who's running, what's going on. At least know the propositions and things that are being put on the table, because a lot of times they're going to be, you know, in these middle elections, there's always asking for some money because they know they can kind of slide it in there, taxing and things like that.
Oh, there's Keita saying, "Hey, Mama McCrory." They all, everybody hollering now.
There you go.
Yeah. She says, "Hey, everybody."
Oh,
I just had some grits and some bacon and some eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. You want to hear me suck my teeth? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, so yeah, definitely. That's a way. There we go. Richard in the building.
Hey,
Look
Richard.
At that. Yeah. Oh, definitely. You know, that's part of creating the movement, the voting and knowing what's happening in your local parts, and then connecting with each other, and trying to. We got a button. We got what's that?
Huh? I just noticed it was crooked in the. Oh, this is my.
Right, I know, right? Oh, graduate.
I don't see.
Yeah, I got my graduate.
I don't see.
Indeed.
brothers,
I know, right? I should have been over there getting some breakfast. That's what I should. We should go live from the breakfast table. Oh. So yeah, so definitely.
No, I'd have turned 5 years old. I'd be like, what he doing here? Why he get to eat?
Why you get to eat?
Like, that's my mama.
Right.
You know how we used to be back in the day, right?
Oh man. Oh, so yeah, so like I said, creating a movement, is starting with the local, building up and connecting with those that are around you. And a lot of times we are separated because we are. He's like, greeting my BOL peeps. There you go. We are separated because we live on an island a lot, and we don't connect as much as we should. And we miss out on the important things that are happening around us. And it's funny, we get so inundated with drama, we miss the small things. We miss the nuances.
We were talking about that yesterday, right?
Right. It's so we're such people that get distracted. And I get it. Things are gonna happen, but when they inundate your life so much that you have no idea what's happening locally, even globally, and we always are the ones caught off guard. These things have been coming down the pike. Inflation, we know, was going to grow. The interest rate was going to go up eventually. We just have to be mindful. We heard about the war starting with Russia. You already know when war starts, gas prices seem to always go up. Gas is always affected. See, every war, if you've been around at least 30 years, gas price is always affected. You said, I'm thinking with everything this week, right? Indeed.
Thank you.
So yeah. So for you, Pastor, and I'm glad Dr. Rollins is here because she has a great organization that's bringing other organizations together to kind of to help build a community. Not, she's kind of created a round table for us to connect, with other like-minded organizations. So I'm glad she's in the building. She's doing a wonderful work in the community. And like I said, it takes, get Texas pump more. Right. But yeah, definitely we have to be mindful of what's happening in our community. So for you, Pastor, how do you feel would help the momentum to keep us focused? What do we need?
You mean in the community?
Yeah, to keep us focused what's happening around us in the community and things of that nature, where we could be more vigilant and not be so reactive in the things that are happening.
I think it's relative because there are many people that are operating with the spirit of vigilance. Right. A lot of people are focused. A lot of people are pushing the envelope. A lot of people are, fighting the good fight. There's so many people out there, so many warriors, right, standing up for different causes that impact our community. So if the question is how do we increase those numbers, I think we keep doing what we've been doing. Okay. It's really, you talk about not getting distracted. It's about, I've had some conversations with people recently because the Bible tells us it's the small foxes that spoil the vine. Right. And so when we talk about being reactive, not knowing what's going on in Russia or in Ukraine and how does that impact gas prices? We're so busy arguing over why you didn't call me back. Right. You understand? Yeah. The value of the things that we find holding our attention hostage. Right. Compared to where we should be investing our time and our energy. There are far too many people that are investing good quality time into spaces that are not conducive for growth, for improvement. Okay. So it's about capturing the focus of so many that are distracted, so many that are lost, so many that are missing it because they're caught up with the small foxes. Right. When I put on a black shirt, I don't want lint to show. Right. I picked the lint. Right. Right. Yeah. Because lint on black is obvious. It may not seem like much, but it distorts the picture. Right. Right. When I speak, I ask people, please pick the lint. Right. I want to know if what I said resonated, if what I said made as much sense to you as it did to me. Right. Or are you going to be petty, not tell me right. or not give me constructive criticism, but go criticize me behind my back to somebody else? Right. Too many of our leaders are caught up And that's why we can't press forward. But what I'm saying is there are a great number of leaders that are operating in a collective fashion that are absolutely making things happen, and they're making people very nervous, which is why we see a lot of the things taking place, or why we are so under attack.
Right.
Because they feel the momentum shifting. Right. So in a season like this, we have to continue to gird ourselves up. And I'm not talking about white versus black, Protestant versus Jew, or Catholic versus Baptist. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking purely about how are we getting better? How do we improve our community? How do we improve I was having a conversation with my neighbor just the other day. I was talking about some work I wanted to do in my backyard, and my neighbor he works on garages. He improves. His line of work is he does garage makeovers. Right. And so I'm telling him, I want to pull a slab of concrete in my backyard and extend my deck. And he's like, hey man, come over here and take a look at what my wife and I have done. I'm just giving you an example. In the back of our house. And he's like, I brought power here. I separated the amperage so that, you know how you always get your power flickering or your breaker goes out. That's because everything is on the same amp, and I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, so I separated, like the stuff outside has its own amperage. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. And so he's giving me ideas. He's giving me pointers. Why? Because if I do it right, it only enhances our community. It's not like, man, you go figure it out yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm applauding him at the word. Oh man, this is great. When I grow up, I want to be like you, We encourage one another and we lend to one another, right? We help, we educate, we enhance where we can. And so if we have more of that, I believe that we'll be able to accomplish a whole lot more than what we accomplish when we say things like, well, you didn't have to say it like that. Like you would not believe that's a debate with two people making $60,000 a year each. And if they didn't trip over that stuff, they would both probably be making $250,000 a year each. Because it's the little stuff that knocks us off. And we miss opportunity. We're looking right when we should have looked left.
Definitely.
You notice I said look right when we should have looked left? Because I'm left-handed, so I prefer looking left than looking right. I was giving favor to the left. Because most people say you look left when you should have looked right.
Right.
Maya's world riddled with right-handed people.
The thing is, that's good, but are we willing to listen? Like your neighbor, he brought you to the back, he was trying to show you like, hey, if you do this will not only, help you personally, it'll help us, like you said, with everything else. Are we willing to listen to others when it comes to correcting our lives? And like you said, do we get so caught up in, you don't have to say it like that we miss out on the message being served. And I think some of those, okay. Hi, Pastor, appreciate you. So I think some of those nuances are the things that keep us from becoming better, from creating a community that will become more. And if we can get out of that space where we're so sensitive, we are people that have become super sensitive. And I'm not saying I want to negate your feelings, but sometimes, the adage, if you ever heard it with preachers, it's tight, but it's right, or if you can't say amen, say ouch, and receive what's being told, because we all are in need of improvement. We're all in need of becoming better with what we do and who we are. And the truth is, the only way that we're going to get better if we begin to show each other the nuances of what made me better, what helped me out of a space. Now, granted, I know some might be thinking, if I'm not looking for the help, or I didn't ask your opinion, I don't want it. But plenty of us know we need help in certain spaces, but we don't talk about it. Like, was it this week or last week that we talked about money? Money is a challenge conversation, because it's not the best feeling to be the one without the most in the room, or even can at least be average. Can I be the average of the room? But when you can feel or know that, man, my chips don't stack up like anybody else's in this room, it's hard to feel comfortable. But I challenge you to have those uncomfortable conversations with other people in the room. Have those uncomfortable conversations about how did you navigate your way through this? Like I spoke about in the beginning of the broadcast, about if you're in the same space with somebody else and you look 5 years down the road, they're so much further ahead. Why not have the conversation? It's rough. And listen, I get some people are that high-minded conversation, the way they speak make you feel like they're looking down on you. It doesn't work always, but it doesn't necessarily hurt to try, to at least see if you can go there. Ask the questions. How did you make your way through, out of the same neighborhood, man? I stumbled here, but it seemed like you excelled there. Have those conversations. If you see children like in your village that are well-mannered while you're struggling to keep your kids together, and real talk, that's probably harder than anything, being a parent and trying to, admit that, man, I do not have a handle on this. Like, I thought I was doing this. I was handling this big time when they were little. I don't know what happened, and willing to. Ooh, that sounds good, man. I'm gonna put a pin in that one. So Richard says, how about our Brothers of Legacy Credit Union? Indeed. And you need the help, or you want the help, but it's asking for the help and not feeling judged, but you have to be open for the answers, because a lot of times, when it comes to children, it's something we've done previous that may have led up to them being a specific way, and though you can't change the past, someone may recommend, like, well, these are the steps you need to take in order to get your child on track going forward, either based on like educational knowledge, based on experience, a combination of both, based on seeing others, based on someone that told them the same thing. There are different experiences that can affect how we expand and grow our village. And it's just being willing to listen. Man, can we listen? Can we listen to one another when it comes to building success, to building our families, creating the movement that will change our communities? What is the conversation that you're having that's going to change your community? I know a lot of people talk about it, but are you willing to make the changes in your life so that the movements take place? And it takes time, it takes showing up. So, my wife and I had a conversation, about men showing up at school functions, and she was like, we want to be heads and leads, but we got to take onus for what's been lacking, and a lot of what Brothers of Legacy movement is about holding us to our feet to the fire so that we are more present in these community spaces in order for change to happen. Sometimes that male voice is necessary in order for change to take place. And we have to be in the spaces to create the movement. That goes for everybody, but everybody got to put their hands to the plow. Everybody has to be involved. We have to be able to take the time out to make things happen. And, you know, you're never that busy. You are never that busy. If you really care about your legacy, because it's not just about finances. It's not just about you and yours. If you don't spread that knowledge to others, where they're going to be left, which direction are they going to be going in? You know, we have to begin to make the necessary changes in our life so that our community can begin to change. Some of the struggle is just we don't listen. We don't want to hear somebody else's opinion or experience. You know, we rather just, I figured out on my own. Like, your way hasn't really been working. We have to begin to understand what is actually happening in our community in order for change to happen. And my thing is, if we don't listen to each other, how are you ever going to grow? Because someone knows something that I don't know. Someone knows something that you want to know that no one else, that you don't know, that someone else someone else knows something that you need to know. There it is. Someone else knows something that you need to know. And if you don't ask, you know, you have not because you ask not. And unless we begin to reach out and really connect with each other one-on-one, in group settings, have conversations, have open conversations about the things we're struggling with. Like, each one of us has a section of our life that we're trying to conquer, that we're trying to overcome. And yet we don't talk about it. We don't ever talk about it. We never talk about it. We always get stuck in the same space, in the same way, doing the same things. And there's no movement. And then we get blindsided. Something happens, something comes up, and we lose out. We lose our momentum. We lose our way. And today, I just want you to kind of consider, who are you connected to that can help you get to the next level or help your community get to the next level? What is it in your life that you need help with that can help somebody else? You never know what you may learn may be a blessing to somebody else, right? The term, I always heard it with the Muslims, you know, each one teach one. Each one teach one. So as you're learning, you can show somebody else. You know, we're getting up on the credit game. We're getting up on how to build multiple streams of income. You know, who are you connected with? And a lot of us are connected to folks, but we don't reach out. We sit on our island. We sit in our space, and we never reach out. We just sit silently, and we struggle over and over again. We go through to get to. We go through instead of seeking out the help needed, the resources. Because there's folks, like I said, there are moments that I finally say something. They're like, yeah, man, all you got to do is, you're like, oh, I've wasted so much time not saying anything. So how do we create a movement? Connecting to each other, listening to each other, being willing to hear the hard parts in order for us to grow. That's how we create a movement. That's how we change our community. That's how we do things that are different than we've done before. That's how generation changes, right? Because your generation after generation, y'all just been secluded, hearing the same things, doing the same stuff. Then someone on the outside can finally come in and say, hey, I think you guys should do it this way. This is work for me and my family. You should try that. And it shifts things. Things change. Generations get better. But we gotta connect. We gotta connect. We have to be willing to do the work, the hard work of connecting. And that changes our community. Because it's not enough for us to just be out marching. It's not enough for us to just be out voting. We gotta connect as a community. We gotta connect as a community. That's the only way. That is the only way that we're gonna grow. The only way. That's it. That's it. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of politicians out there. Learn who's running. Learn about the propositions that are on the table. Because, like I said, in these midterms, this is when money is out there. Like, they're trying to slide a new tax agenda in there because a lot of people don't vote in the midterm. So this is the opportunity to slide those little laws. Hey, we're going to charge you 2 cents every time you shop now. So we can add this to whatever project we're trying to build, supposedly. So you need to watch. You need to stay apart. You need to stay connected. You need to find out what's on your local ballot. All right? And then share. Once you find out, like, yo, you see these folks trying to do such and such, this right here, right? So I'm trying to do something different. I put it like, like the news organization, they got the ticker, BOL News. Bribing senators is legal. So the Supreme Court just cast down a verdict. The senator, Ted Cruz, pretty much you could loan money back into your campaign up to $250,000, right? So you can, after the campaign's over, you can get up to $250,000 that can go loaned back to your campaign. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Senator Cruz because he loaned $255,000, so that sends him to court. He did it on purpose to start something, and he ended up winning. So now it's unlimited amount of money can be loaned back into your campaign after the election. After the election. So see how they're going to weave that. They can get any money, anytime after the election. Right. Marinate on that. So now money has even grown. There's already the corporations of people, my friend. Some years back during Obama's administration, that got passed, where corporations can now give money to organizations. Now, even after the election, they can continue to receive unlimited amount of money. Think Cruz, he might, but he's going to lose. Nobody really like him like that. He ain't really loved on the Republican side either. So he's always just going to be a thorn in everybody's butt. So now bribing, to me, it's just a bribe. And one of the Supreme Court justices said the same thing. And also the Buffalo shooting exposes segregation, which is in New York. And I always tell you, New York is a segregated state. So it does have spaces in Buffalo that's more integrated. But New York is a segregated space. So these are things to think about as you're voting, as you're connecting with your community. You got to know what's going on. All right. I'm not going to hold you much longer. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me, hanging with me. I was just about to close out. All right. I'm going to let Pastor have the last word, and then we're going to bounce out of here.
What's the last word?
So I told everybody, hey, get married.
This is my sophomore in college.
Yeah.
You just gonna show him just a corner of your face.
Yeah. She said, that's it. You get the eye. You're gonna get the eye. That's it. So I was talking about the bribing senator is legal. The court case that came down, the Supreme Court, where they ruled in favor of Ted Cruz. So now you can literally get money after the election. There's no cap.
Oh yeah, you can recoup
right.
Your donations if you invest in your own campaign,
right? And
the campaign raises money,
right? You
can recoup whatever you put in.
Yeah.
So may the richest man win, basically.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, and then talking about the Buffalo shooting exposes segregation. And I was just saying, I'm from New York, and segregation is all over the place. Segregation. Yeah. So, and you came on, and you can have the last word. Anything that you've seen in reference to making the movement, creating the movement, things we need to be aware of that you've seen that you just.
Well, to me, it's the same thing that you would apply to trying to make it in life. To whom much is given, much is required. The higher you go up, the bigger the target is on your back.
Right.
And in these days, on your front.
Right.
And like I said, we're living in very challenging times. But guess what? I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. It was real challenging trying to get out of Egypt.
Right.
But they got out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
and
indeed.
when they got out of Egypt, their biggest obstruction was the Egyptian mindset.
Right.
they had to get out of their own way because Egypt had been moved out of the way. So why are you struggling if the enemy has been moved?
Yep.
You fighting yourself. So as you grow, as you expand, as we try to improve and increase, let's not become our own worst enemy.
Right.
Boom.
Exactly. Right. Mike Jim. Hey, there you go. That's how we ended. Pastor for president. I approve of this message. All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Thank you guys for always supporting and sharing and doing all your things. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Wednesday, hump day. So we'll see you in the AM. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe and always do the right thing. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe.